Alright, this is a challenge video. This is the first in a series. I get this question fairly often, and the question is, can I take a nodule like this, spall it, break it down, and make as many things as possible from this one nodule? I'm going to do it with Obsidian, but I'll also do this with chert once I get back into chert. And what he was asking is, can I make a knife blade, maybe a tomahawk head, a series of arrowheads, and any other tools that I can think of, maybe a drill, out of just one nodule. I said, yeah, I'll do it. And show the whole process. This is going to be a series. So this is the first video in the series. And hopefully everything goes right, and I won't mess up other parts of the series. Okay, so hopefully this scale will be able to weigh this. 3 pounds, 7.5 ounces. I say hopefully because I think this scale only goes up to 5 pounds. 3 pounds, 7.5 ounces. Yeah. Okay, so that's what this nodule started as. I'm going to weigh everything afterwards. Well, it's like 6 inches to that point. I guess I can try to get the as long as possible, a blade as long as possible from this. It's 7 inches maximum. Yeah. Okay, and 4.5. Let's see. 5. Let's say 5 inches. All right. So you guys can keep track of that. I already forgot. Where I can watch the video. Yeah. Alright, so here we go. We're starting this challenge. I'm going to work on this for a little while, and then I'm going to do the live stream. I'll upload this before the live stream. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. I was going to use a different set of gloves. Hold on. One of my subscribers named Rick sent me some gloves. So I'm going to use this to spall with. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to save everything in here that I get from this. I'm going to probably lose some weight. It's not going to be perfect because we're going to have flakes flying everywhere, and I can't gather them all from wherever they fly in the shop. Yeah. I got too much stuff in here. So I'll just try to capture what I can. Alright, so I'm going to try to capture everything. And then we'll weigh everything at the end. We'll have lots of fun. Where did this come from? This came from Alan Cole. It's one of his Obsidian nodules that he sent me. Alright? Okay, here we go. Yes, I'm going to use copper. I'll do this again with natural tools as well. Alright, so if this goes well and it has enough interest, I'll make several videos like this, because I do think this is an interesting concept. I don't know if this is the way they used to do it, but I imagine they would do it like this sometimes. Back in the day, I think what they used to do is it had something in mind, like one type of knife blade, and then made a knife out of it. And then whatever was the debitage, they would just let people use this stuff for butchering meat and whatever. Just kind of leave it in a pile, and people would come and pick it up, you know, from the tribe or whatever. And the napper wouldn't make anything besides that knife he was after. That's what I think happened most of the time. Because nappers, you know, they're going to spend time getting good at what they do, so they don't have much time to do other things. if they're getting good at what they do and hunting, and maybe teaching others how to do this, they're probably just focusing on one style of point and one specific weapon system, like only at lateral dart points, or only knives, or only tomahawk heads. Now, do they make tomahawk heads like what we normally see in movies and stuff, and in some YouTube videos? No, I don't think so. You'll see what I mean. I'm gonna probably, if I get a big enough piece besides the blade, the biface blade, if I get a big enough piece to work with, I'll make a tomahawk head, but it'll be a double-sided point, or it'll be a point that can be stuck into the top of a club and not strapped to like a forked tomahawk handle. It'll be a point stuck into the tomahawk end like that, right? I don't want to cut myself, but you know, stuck into it. The tomahawk head like this is going to be like a bulbous head on the tomahawk, and just the point or whatever stuck into it. You know, drill a hole and glue it in, and not wrap it like you see in the tourist shops. I'm not going to make one of those tourist shop tomahawks, if you know what I mean, right? Just to keep it simple, explanation wise. All right, so I'm going to try to knock off some big spalls, in addition to trying to preserve as much of this for the biface as I can. Yeah. Without cutting myself. Let's see. I think I might need a second glove here, just in case. Sometimes the flakes fly backwards. Yeah. Especially when I'm doing something that I don't normally do. What do I not normally do? I don't normally try to get the biggest spalls possible off of something that I'm preserving for the biface. I'm trying to maximize for the biface. I usually don't try to get really big spalls. I'll try to get little spalls for arrowheads, but right now I'm looking for a place where I can hit a large spall off of this. I got a piece of obsidian inside my skin somewhere, right in there. It's just causing an itch. I can't seem to figure out where it is. When I have an itch, it interferes with my Flintknapping. Yeah. It doesn't even have to be painful. It just needs to be itchy. And that's enough to make a difference. Okay. Let's see. It might take a while for me to figure this out. That's what I was afraid of. I was trying to take a big spall here, but it overshot. Let's see. That one overshot as well. That's not good. Let's see what that one did. I don't know. See, I'm trying to get these larger spalls, but they're not gonna. It's not gonna cooperate. Yeah. Besides, if I make a tomahawk head, it's gonna have to be thick. With obsidian, you can't make a wimpy little thing. It'll break easily. I'm going to try to cut something with it. With everything that I'm going to make in this series, I'm going to try to use it. Alright, so let's start collecting this stuff. Just so it won't get mixed up. Hold on. Collect everything. I want to even collect all the little bits and pieces. Well, maybe not, but let me see. There's pieces of other obsidian in this batch, so I'll just collect stuff like that. I'll throw out these little things, and it'll show in the difference in weight anyway. So okay, stuff that's just way too little to use for anything. Okay. I'm itching. There's something itching me. Okay. So this is unusual, I think, back in the day, because I don't think they were doing it this way. It's kind of risky to try to make as many things as possible at this stage. I mean, I could just ignore everything and just go for the biface and then hope that there's other pieces that are usable, that are big enough to be usable for a spearhead and all that. Ooh, it's got a sheen to it. Oh, dang. Look at that. You know what I mean? It's harder to plan on spalls than to pick up incidental spalls. That's too close to the space heater. Okay, so let's see. It's got that sheen to it. Well, I'll just have to get some more obsidian from Alan Colden. Yeah. I'm using one of the best pieces of obsidian I have for this particular challenge. I didn't even know it. Okay. Maybe I'll just sell all of them together when I'm done. Yes? No? Maybe not. Alright, so let's see. I've already gotten all the big chunks off that I think I can get. So now I'm just if I can see a spot, I'll try for a big flake. A thick big flake. So the danger is overshots, yeah. Overshots waste material. Because sometimes, like what happened earlier, it didn't preserve the whole length. It broke, but it overshot. So not only did I get a short spall, I also made my biface smaller unnecessarily. I got two short little spalls on that first overshot that I got. So it's wasteful when you get an overshot. Oh, when I do. I've never had a really good overshot experience. Maybe once. Back when I didn't know any better. Yeah. Yeah, those are good. See, I can. Those allow me to make arrowheads or little dart points. I'm going to reduce this down until I can say for sure that the flakes coming off are not going to be used for much. You know what I mean? I can get some good arrowhead flakes off of this still. But once it starts to get to the point where I can barely get anything from it, I'll move on to the next thing. Is it in the glove? Because it's really annoying. I wouldn't stop unless it was extremely annoying. What is it? Yeah, that's right. It's in there. Alright, let's see. I can feel it, but I can't see it. Is it right there? I think it's right here. Although sometimes I'll feel an itch in one spot and it's actually somewhere else. It feels like it's right here. And there's a little bit of a cut there. I'm scraping this. Sometimes this will catch it and pull it out. Okay, I think that's it. Okay, so they're going to be like this, so I'm going to stop using the bopper on this one. Yeah, I tried for one more, but yeah, if I hit it really hard, it takes a bite out of it, so I'm going to leave it. Oh, something migrated? No, see, that's what gets me right there. See those little long slivers? Yeah. I stopped that one before it penetrated all the way. I could feel it. Ooh, all of a sudden. That was probably one that went right there too. And you can't see them because they're transparent. If you go look for them. Oh, the best thing is to stop them before they get to you. Before they get to you. Okay, I'm going to stop with this. Yep. And then I'll see what else we got in there. All right. If I was really scientific about this, I would separate all that small debitage so I can give you a percentage of how much debitage came off of the initial shaping. know, separate this little stuff from the bigger stuff, but I don't know. Alright, I gotta find the largest spalls and start bifacing. We'll see what I've got. I'll separate these into arrowheads or metal dart point spalls, and then potential spearheads, I guess. And maybe potential tools. I don't know. But tools like scrapers. These are potential arrowheads and metal dart points. Yeah, that's probably one of those. I need a thick piece if I want to do a tomahawk head. That's a potential one right there. These are all arrowhead. I could make a drill out of this. Let me take my glasses off. This is a potential tomahawk head, a small one. This is a bigger, this might be a spearhead. Yeah. This is some kind of tool probably. What can I make out of this? Just a woodworking tool. There's an arrowhead. Of course, it depends on how small I want to make the arrowheads. But even though there might be big spalls in overall width or length, you get these dips in there and they don't work well for anything. So, let's see. Let's try the most difficult ones first. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah. 8 for arrowheads. Two potential spear points, long at metal dart or handheld spear points. 1 tomahawk head, small. Okay, and then a knife, biface knife. This one I'm going to see if I can make a drill out of it. So I'll do the biface for the drill. Some might say, well, that's not really correct because the drills were made from points that were whittled down and resharpened so much that all I can do with it is make a drill. I don't think that's always the case. I think, yeah, that's true. But to say that's always the case, I don't think so. I would make dedicated drills. If I had a piece like this, I couldn't make anything else out of it. To take advantage of this shape. It's best just to make a dedicated drill out of it if it's this shape to begin with. Yeah. And not wait until one of my little dart points or my knife gets so small it has to become a drill. After all that resharpening. So I'm going to make a drill out of this. Hopefully. I'm using a little tiny bopper. I think this says 1.7 ounce. Yeah. How much did I lose? No, I didn't lose too much. I can still make a drill out of it. Probably a stronger drill now. Well, to make a drill, all you need is 1.5 inches. That's all you need. It'll serve almost every conceivable purpose if it's 1.5 inches. 2 inches would be better. Yeah. Right now it's 3.5 total. So we got plenty of room if I don't mess it up. Yikes. It's a delicate obsidian. Yes, it is. Did they make drills out of obsidian? I think they did, yeah. I mean, it can be used to drill soft material, like wood. As long as your arrow shaft wood, I'm thinking along the lines of arrow shaft or some sort of river cane for the shafts of either the lateral darts or the arrows. I'm probably going to have to go with arrows because these Arrowhead spalls are not that big. I mean, they're big enough for lateral dart points, but there's some of them that are on the smaller side. And if I want to use every possible piece, I would have to go even smaller with the size of the projectile point. Okay, let's see. Now that I'm thinking about it, hold on. Let's get this separated out a little bit better. Okay. Let's put this aside a little bit. I don't want to break those, just in case. I'm going to weigh this. Hold on. I'm going to weigh the whole thing, then I'm going to dump it out and weigh just the plastic. And then we'll do the subtraction and find out how much debitage was the result of that first stage, or how much debitage resulted from that first stage. Can you see 1.13 ounces? 1 pound, 13 ounces? Can you see? Can you zoom in? Zzz. 1 pound, 13.1 ounces. All right. Now, I consider that debitage that I'm not going to use. We might go into that, dig into it later, but for now, I'm assuming that's all. That's the debitage from the first stage. And we got to subtract 7.8 ounces for the bin. Right? Why don't I just do the tear? Let's do that. We'll zero it out. And then add Am I getting in the way? Is this exciting yet? No, I know. This stuff is getting all into my face. All these are kind of spraying flakes everywhere. So I'm gonna go slow. See how close this measurement is. Alright, so the debitage itself weighs 1 pound 5.1 ounces. Can you see? 1 pound 5.1 ounces. That's the initial debitage. So yeah, I'll save it. I was going to dump it, but we'll save it. How was I going to dump it? Just to make it easier. I don't have to mess with it. Alright, so the debitage from all the other stages is going to be pretty minute. I don't feel like gathering up all the other debitage, like stuff that's going to come off of this. And the stuff that's going to come off of these, it's just minute stuff. I'm not going to mess with it. I'm not going to mess with measuring. We'll just measure everything at the end, the ones that I finished. Alright? Okay. But just to give you an idea of how much that was, 1 pound 5 ounces from whatever it was when I first measured the initial nodule. This debitage, what I consider 90% of that going to be thrown away. Are these drills effective, made of obsidian? Yeah, as long as you keep them thick. They cannot be too thin. I don't remember seeing very many obsidian drills in the archaeological record, but I imagine that they are. They're probably not very long, but I'm going to use one. Yeah. Should be good enough for half a dozen arrows before it gets too dull to be a good. And ideally, it should be, the drill should last enough to make quite a few arrows, but the obsidian is going to break easily doing the drill work. The edge is going to break easily. You got to try to keep the drill holes consistent as much as possible, so that when you make your foreshafts, you can make them all the same. You can use a gauge for the foreshafts. Yeah, you can use the drill as the gauge to give you an idea of how the foreshaft tang should look. But I would rather make one foreshaft, the first one, with the proper dimensions, and then copy that first wooden foreshaft from copy the subsequent wooden foreshafts from the first wooden foreshaft, and not copy the subsequent wooden foreshafts from the shape of the Obsidian drill. Yeah. That's just the way I would do it. You can do it by copying the shape of the obsidian drill, but I find it easier to copy the shape of the wood. One reason is if you drop it, it doesn't break. The less you mess with the breakable stuff, the better. Maybe I shouldn't say easier, I'm just saying maybe I should say more successful. I find it I have more success when I copy the wood than if I were to try to preserve the obsidian drill. Make sure I don't drop it or ding the tip by accident because I'm messing around using it as a gauge. Yeah. Drills are not supposed to be used as gauges. They're supposed to be used only as drills, and when they're not in use, you wrap it with leather. Keep it protected. Or stick it in the holder so it doesn't break. Don't be messing with it. I'll show you how to do a consistent drilling on arrow shafts. Even when the drill bit breaks down and starts to reduce in size, you can still remount and drill, you know, half a dozen consistent channels within the wood with one drill, even if it breaks down and starts to get all chippy and you got to reshape it and stuff. Okay? All right. How do I know how to do that? I don't know. Okay. Let's see. Yeah, if this drill breaks, I might have some pieces in the debitage that I can cheat and make another one. You know, there's one piece in there that probably might work as a drill later on. Yeah. I just got to get this into the basic preform shape, and then I'm going to move on to the next item. Get all the preforms made first. Come on. I'm already wearing through the glove. Already wearing through it? Is it the new one? Yes, the new one. I don't know. Am I already wearing through that? Probably because it's a little bit big. Yeah, looks like I'm already wearing through the glove a little bit because of the abrader. Let's see. I'm taking my time on this one because it's difficult. Yeah. Believe it or not, the other stuff is a little bit easier. This piece is difficult because it has a lot of cortex, and I've got to be very aware of where the weak spots might be. I don't want this to break in half. I already broke the tip off. If I see a weak spot, I'll let you know. It looks okay, but I don't want to miss it if it does have one. How will I get around it? Well, I'll make the decision. If it's good, still good, even if it has a weak spot, I'll continue to do the chipping. If it looks like it's gonna break, I'll just abandon it. Yeah. Next, just the decision whether or not I want to mess with it, or if it's a defect that I can get around. I'll continue to get. I'll try to get around it. Yeah. Does it need to be really straight and really perfect? No, I just prefer it to be as straight as I can get it. It just makes it much easier to drill with. Okay, where is this? Here it is. Yeah, you can drill with it even though it's not perfectly straight from top to bottom. Just the part that you're drilling with is the only part that needs to be straight. I'll show you why. But I want to make the whole thing straight. Yeah. Because if the tip breaks off again, I can, just sharpen the tip and everything else is straight. So no worries. Easy peasy. I still got a ways to go to get it more narrow, but I've got to be very careful about how I narrow it. It's got to stay thick. It's very easy to make it thin at this point by knocking off too much. Wouldn't it be easier to do this with pressure? Not for me. Maybe for you. Yeah? Maybe for you it is to do this at this stage when it gets to this shape, almost finished. Would it be easier just to use pressure? For you, maybe. Yeah. Go for it. One thing I was always curious about is Ishi the Indian made the drills for his arrows out of bone, apparently. He didn't use obsidian. I always wondered about that. Maybe he did use Obsidian, just not that time that they observed him. I don't know. Bone is a lot more reliable, but it's also, I think, much more difficult to drill wood with it because it gets dull. Like almost immediately. The bone gets dull almost immediately. I gotta be very careful about how thin it gets because the drill edges have to be very thick, almost a 90 degree. You'll see what I mean later. Alright, that's good enough for the preform. Okay, so there's that. This can be a point, like a spear point. A handheld spear point. As it has the potential of being a thick point. I would not want to use a thin point for a spearhead. Nope, nope. I got in trouble last time for doing that. Taking a risk by hitting the bottom like that without knowing if that cortex is solid. Because if there's any cracks in there, they open up and it'll snap the tip off by hitting the bottom, like I was just doing. So you might be thinking, is this how they used to do it most of the time, or only some of the time, or how can you tell? Are you able to tell in the archaeological record if they made their tools this way, or did they do it like I said at the beginning of the video? They would just dedicate that nodule to one certain type of tool and got the flakes off of that, or the body of the nodule itself for one tool, or just got a bunch of flakes off for a specific type of tool, or did they knock off random sizes for various tools? Which one did they do? Or did they do both? Or did they favor one over the other? Or did they say one way or the other was stupid? We don't have any way of knowing if they said it was stupid. We only would have indirect knowledge of that if there was a someone like Ishii were to say something like that, like it would be stupid to knock off random pieces and make a bunch of random tools. It's best. He didn't say this, but I'm just saying, if he would have said something like, it's best to just dedicate yourself in a knapping session to one type of tool, no matter what size or shape the nodule, knock off a bunch of spalls for that particular type of tool. Or he would say something like, yeah, I just knock off random spalls and then whatever fits is what I make. But I don't think he said either one of those. So without that, we don't know for sure. Yeah, there might be other accounts. I just don't know if there is, you know. The Indians would say how they made them. They stopped making stone tools so fast after European contact that there's not much information on the processes. You know, the initial stages. There's not much information on the initial stages. There's a lot of eyewitness accounts of making stuff during the middle stages and the finishing stages, but not much on the initial stages. Or the beginning. When I say initial, it's the beginning. In the modern era, like today, most people would probably want to spall it randomly and pick out from the random spalls what they can make from each spall, depending on the size and shape. That's what we would do in the modern age. Why? Because a lot of times we have to pay for this stuff, and we can't just go for one type of point only, because it wastes material that way. If you don't have money to buy a bunch of material, we are trying to conserve it, so we'll just randomly spall it and make stuff randomly from, whatever fits. Go with the flow. That way you can be more conservative with what you are buying. That's why everyone wants to know, how do you maximize it for the biface? Because that's going to pay for my rock, the biface. Everything else I get to keep. Or something like that. I'm not saying everybody does it that way. I've seen it done that way, where someone will buy some rock and then they want to preserve that rock as much as possible. Make bifaces like this, sell this to cover the cost of the rock. Yeah. Just as an example. Some people don't worry about that stuff. Some people are going, hey, that's a good idea. Yeah, only if you can make it happen. Yeah, that's the hard part. But yeah, it can be done. How do I know? I don't know. Someone might say, no, I need to nap everything and sell everything because the rock costs all my savings. If the rock is that expensive, you're in trouble. Yeah. No, it's because I could only make one thing from the whole box. Oh, I see. So everything is just that one thing. Yeah, I get it. Ouch, I don't want to strike this. It's supposed to be a spear point. It's supposed to be strong. Yeah, I know. It's supposed to be thick enough to be strong. Yes, I know. Why you make it so thin right there? It's not my fault. I lost my mind. It's my brain's fault. The brain is not you? Got me there. It is me. Dang it. I don't want it to be my fault. I don't want it to be my fault it got too thin. Nope. Alright, so that's that preform. Yes? Okay. Is this the other spear point? Maybe we can make a match. What time is it? Do we have enough time? Edges are sharp. I felt that one. I don't have enough width there. I have enough width here. I have enough width down here. But it's thin. Yeah. I don't know. We'll still go for it. I know it's dangerous to hit the tip. I mean, hit the end with the tip all thick. I know. Okay, fine. I don't follow my own rules sometimes. How is that even possible? I make up the rules and then I don't follow them? How is that even possible? The brain can even do that? That's all screwy. Yeah, I know. Oh, I know lots of people that they know the rules, but they don't follow them. Especially when it comes to talking smack online. Yep. They call people all, you're all rude, you're rude. I'm gonna barge into this conversation and just say, you're rude. Yeah, dude, but you just barged into the conversation. That's kind of rude. No, you're rude. That kind of thing. Yeah. I was thinking about that today. People, they don't want to learn to be smart. No. They'll make fun of you. They'll make fun of the techniques that people use to increase their intelligence. Yeah. One of the techniques is learning about logic and how to think in a logical way. That'll make you smarter. And you don't even need to take any smart pills. No. But people make fun of that. Honey, why are you suddenly talking about all this logic and fallacy stuff? You sound weird. And you're trying to be elitist. It's very telling that you're trying to improve your intelligence. So it's very telling that you're trying to do that. It's not. We get a bad vibe. Yeah, they'll say stuff like that. There's got to be an ulterior motive to you trying to be smarter. We don't like it. You're probably acting in bad faith. Yeah. We don't believe humanity is where people, we don't consider people to be good. You're bad by default. And all this stuff you're trying to do is very telling. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I mean, I know the game that people play. Why they play these games online? I don't know. Maybe because they're insane. Yeah. Maybe. We're not supposed to say that, though. We're not clinicians. We're not scientists in mental health, so we can't. We don't have any say. Besides, we get in trouble. Yeah. It's funny, you cannot point out insanity. And that's what's wrong with humanity. Yep. It's a rule. Insanity is what's wrong with humanity. But you can't point it out. No. Don't point out the insanity, even though that's what's wrong with humanity. Yeah. It's a conundrum. Wrapped in an enigma. Hit the workpiece by accident. Luckily, it didn't do anything. Yikes. I don't know. This little cortex boogery area is not good. It's going to make me do something that's going to risk breaking it. I got to clear that out of there. You know, the only way, well, I can't even do the other side thing unless I shoot from higher up, and that's even more risky. I don't know. I might be able to do it. I'm sneaky. Okay. Did it do it? Yikes. It kind of did it. Hold on. I gotta make sure I got the rest of it. It almost took off most of it. It took off some of it. Come on. Just like when you explain stuff, you don't want to explain it more than once. And like when you hit the rock, you don't want to hit it more than once. Just either do it or don't do it. But don't pretend like it's gonna be doing something and it didn't do it. Only did it partially. Oh, that was a lot of meat. I butchered a lot of meat off the stone, but I couldn't avoid it. Am I able to get two? I think I'm able to get two. So there you go. Two potentially handheld spear points. Okay, so a drill. 2 spear points. A tomahawk head. Gosh, this is pushing it. But we'll try it anyway. It's pushing it because you never know what's under the cortex. It could be a bunch of nasties. incipients living under there. Because nature bumps up against the rock and it causes a bunch of incipients to land in there. Where are the incipients coming from? They're the things, the little creatures that mess up your napping. They don't even know what's going on. So you got to be aware of their existence. Yeah. Yeah, but they're not creatures, dude. That's so weird. You've gone off the deep end. Yeah, maybe. Maybe I've gone off the deep end. Maybe I'm just not in the mood to be serious. Maybe I got tired of being serious. Maybe this, maybe that. I don't know. Did I do it? I think it did it. I gotta make sure the edge is clean. Cutting edge. Yeah. You can tell by my tone, it's going good. Or better than expected. Yeah. I thought it was going to be worse than this. Live stream is pretty soon. I might not be able to upload this before the live stream. I might not upload soon enough. Or I can do it from my phone while a live stream is going. Yeah, okay. As long as that... See, I can't see the regular time with my phone. I'm going to depend on my analog clock. Hopefully the battery is not running low. That's why I don't like doing stuff before I have to do stuff. Let me just get this cortex off and I'll go inside. Is it gonna be good? Good like it should? Come on, don't get all crackly on me. Am I going by a tomahawk head of the past? It's gonna be kind of like an adze head. Okay. That's why I'm gonna justify it. Because I don't think they have these as I don't think these look like celts in Obsidian. I think they have adze blades that look like they could be used as tomahawk blades, but they don't have things that look like celts. You know what I mean? the ground down axe heads that they grind from stones. Stones that are not knappable, I mean. I'm trying to make one of those out of this. So it looks kind of like a adze head, but we'll see. I think I'm going to haft this vertically. Well, it's not going to be hafted like an adze. I'm going to make it, try to make it symmetrical. All right, so that's the preform. I got to go inside. If I don't go inside early, I'll find something that needs to be taken care of that takes forever, and I'll be late. Why didn't I leave some of the cortex on the back? Because it's an unknown, you know. You don't know. I don't know if there's going to be like incipients in there, and if I back it up against something, if I haft it in something, and I hit it, and there's an incipient there, it could just split the whole thing from back here. As an example, I just don't want anything weird to happen. Okay, so what I'm going to do to finish this out is I will grind the back of this, but I'll be very careful to sharpen this edge. And when I have it in wood, it's going to be about an inch sticking out. So it won't be that much sticking out. So you don't need much to cut. Now for fighting, you're going to need more than 2 inches. But I'm assuming this is going to be not for fighting, but for, I don't know, dispatching a trapped animal. You can hit it on the back of the neck, cut into the neck. As an example. Who knows? I really don't see a need for tomahawks, but I was challenged to make one. So, all right. So that's it so far. I got to do the Arrowhead preforms in another video. The next one. That one weighs 10 ounces, 10.3. Everything together is 15.5 ounces. Okay? All right. I gotta go inside. Well, let's get a separate basket. I got lots of baskets. Yeah. There we go. All right, that's it.